Alright, fellas, today we got a cool move called the washing machine. Here it is. That's the move, and here is a slow-mo. Alright, so to get right into it, you're going to start off holding the safe handle. So that's the one that's not going to cut you, right? The dull side of the blade. You're going to grab it with your thumb and your index finger, just in a normal grip like this. You're going to start by taking the bite handle and you're going to fling it out over the back of your hand. Now, one thing to note is my wrist is kind of downwards here, right? I'm not going upwards. My wrist is downwards, right? So I'm angled down. So cut the safe handle, fling out the bite handle over the back of my hand. Then I'm going to let the bite handle fall like this, and I'm going to take the back of the blade and I'm going to fling that over the back of my hand. So to recap, right, I got the safe handle, my forearm is angled downwards like that. I'm going to fling out the bite handle, I'm going to let it fall. I'm going to take the back of the blade, I'm going to fling that against the back of my hand, I'm going to let it fall, and I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to take the back of the bite handle here and I'm going to fling that on the back of my hand and I'm going to let it fall. And so what that'll look like when you put them all together, right, you go 1, fall, 2, fall, 3, fall. And so you get 3 rotations and you wind up in this position right here. All right? So once you have that figured out, right, and you can go 1, 2, 3. You can put them together, right, until they get smooth like this. And now we're going to do 3 rotations in the other direction. And so what's going to happen is from this position right here, you're going to take the dull side of the blade and you are going to turn your palm. My palm's kind of upwards right now. I'm going to turn it upside down like that. All right, so that's like the first rotation. So that's 1. Then I'm going to take the back of the bite handle and I'm going to put it against my thumb like that. And I'm going to let it fall. So that's 2. And for the third one, I'm going to take the back of the blade, I'm going to fling that against the back of my thumb, and I'm going to let it fall. So to recap right from the start, right, got the safe handle, fling out the bite handle, let it fall, fling out the back of the blade, let it fall, fling out the bite handle again. Now I'm going to take the dull side of the blade, I'm going to turn my palm upside down, I'm going to fling the bite handle against my thumb, I'm going to let it fall, I'm going to take the back of the blade against my thumb, let it fall, and I wind up here. And so what that looks like when you put it all together, right, is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Something like that. And when you get it real smooth, right, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Now, what you do is at this point here, we're going to go into a fan. All right, so you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to start with the knife right in this position here, right? I'm just kind of hanging down. My arm is angled downwards. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my wrist here and I'm going to angle it upwards, right? And what that's going to do is if you do it right and you kind of tilt it upwards, you're going to fling out the bite handle towards myself in line with my wrist, right? And so it winds up right about like in this position, kind of right here. And the point you want to get it to is the point I kind of got it to, where when you fling it up and it's just kind of floating, right? It's kind of just hovering there, right? The handle is not touching my hand, just kind of hovering there. Once you get it to this point, right, where it's perfectly horizontal like this, what you're going to do, you're going to take your index finger and your thumb and you are going to go twist and go into a fan. Now, the thing with the fan, right, it takes a little bit while to get used to, but all it is, right, is you just hold the safe handle. You're going to do a little bit of a circular motion. You're going to hold very loosely, very, very, very loosely, and you're just going to do a circular motion with your hand, and the knife kind of spins around like this. So to recap right from the start, right, you got the safe handle. You go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take my wrist. I'm going to turn it upwards. And right when the bite handle gets to right about this position right here, I'm going to take my index finger and my thumb and I'm going to twist and I'm going to go into a fan. So the hard part of this move is going into the catch, right? So you're from this position right here, right? You're flinging it upwards, you're going into the fan, and at some point you're stopping and you're going to catch it. Now, what I like to do to make this work is to start. What you're going to do is you're just going to do one 180-degree rotation into a catch. And so what that looks like, right? You got the knife here in this position here, right? It's where you end up when you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You end up here. You're gonna fling the knife up, right? It's gonna go to this horizontal position, and what you're gonna do, instead of going into a fan, you're just gonna take your index and your thumb, and you're gonna twist this handle around 1/2 rotation and wind up here. So what that looks like, right, is something like this. At this point, you're gonna take your bottom 4 fingers, you're gonna extend them, and you're gonna catch the bite handle like that. So once again, right, you start from this position here, up, around, bottom 4 fingers, catch. And so you can get kind of fast at this, right? But don't even bother. Just keep it nice, keep it easy, keep it smooth, just like that. This is kind of what it feels like when you end the fan. All right? And the thing is, right, as you get smoother and smoother, you can kind of line it up so there's not this pause at the end and this catch, right? You kind of start here, spin it around, and you just catch right away. Now, so the next step, this is the real hard part, right, is going from this just half rotation into 1 rotation and then this catch, all right? So you can see, right, I start in this position here, right, the knife comes around, it passes that point, and it spins around one more time and goes back to that point, and I take my 4 fingers and I catch. And so this will just take a little bit of practice, right? And the thing is, right, you can get kind of good at it. You can catch it. Now, the way I do it, right, when I do this whole move, is I do 2 rotations. So it seems kind of fast, right? But basically what's happening, right, I'm starting in this position here. I'm spinning the knife around, passes here once, passes here twice, comes down, and you catch. Usually if you keep it consistent, you can keep it consistent, right? You can make it so it happens every time. If you try, like even if I try and go right from a fan, and I'm like, oh man, okay, at some point here I'm going to catch it, I can't even really time it. But if I go like, I know that was 3 rotations, or 2 rotations rather, and I can just catch it and it's fine, right? And so the thing is, if you work your way up, it's easy. If you just try and blast it out and you're like, oh man, at some point I'm going to get it. So what I would recommend you do anyways, right, is you go 1 rotation, you catch, and then transition that into 2 rotations. Like 1, whatever, that was like a billion rotations, but 1, 2, and catch. It's hard to do it slow, but you get the gist, right? 1, 2. There you go, that was 2. 1, 2. That was 1, I think. The point is, right, you can practice it, and you will be able to get it, right? If you can do 1 rotation, you can do 2 rotations, you can do 3 rotations, it's just a matter of timing. And so basically what I do, right, is from this position here, I just blast out the fan, and I wind up doing 2 rotations, and I wind up stopping at the right time, and I wind up catching it. So hope that makes sense. This one's going to take a little bit of practice, especially if you're not used to the fan, but once you get it, it's really, really fun. I really like this trick. So hope you guys like that one. Thanks for watching. Peace.